We are here and we are kicking off our Road to Gen Con coverage for 2025 with our most anticipated list. I'll warn you right now, this is a list in no particular order. We're not going 10 to 1 or anything like this. These are just 10 games that we're looking forward to. And I think most of these are purchasable.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a goal. We wanted to give kind of a guide of things you could go see. I mean, we might talk a little bit about some honorable mentions or some demos or some games that we're excited about that maybe we've already played.
We will.
But
we have a list.
This is 10 games that we are excited about getting to play that will be available at Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con is really just coming up very soon. It's like, 2 or 3 weeks from when we're recording this. Hopefully we'll get this being posted well in time for you to check it out. We will probably also have some individual games highlighted on the channel between now and Gen Con, maybe a little coverage during Gen Con. There's a lot going on. Some of those games might be some of the games that are on our list. Some of them might be on the wall behind us right now. But some of them I know for sure are not. But we're going to kick things off with a game that we just got in. This is a game that's going to be available in limited quantities at Gen Con, and it is Lightning Train from Direwolf. And Ryan has had a chance to play a prototype.
I did. I played a prototype with Paul. We went to a Direwolf event. It was a few years ago. 2 years ago, maybe? So Paul's been working on this game. If you don't know Paul, he designed Clank, which is one of our favorite games.
Yeah.
He designed Dune Imperium, which is one of my favorite games. So this was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The thing about Lightning Train, and like Paul is a train gamer, but this is not a train game. Like if you were to tell people this is a train game, they might have very specific
This might be a train
feelings.
game I'll play.
Right. It has trains, but it's not like a Ticket to Ride and it's not like an 18XX. It's a Euro bag builder. A lot of what you're doing in the game involves putting these chips in a bag, and those chips are like your income and things like that, and you're drawing those chips out and then using those chips to take actions across the game board. I mean, you're doing some of the stuff that you do.
I mean, you are building a route. Overall,
you're building routes, you're making deliveries.
You're trying to build a transatlantic, I think, route from, I can't remember the cities, but across the country. And depending on player count, you have to touch a couple other cities maybe along the way. But that's going to be sort of the core thing that's driving the whole game. But like Ryan said, it is a bag builder.
Yeah, that's the key part.
And we love our bag builders. While it's nothing like Orleans, I mean, that is the quintessential bag builder.
Sure,
but Direwolf themselves had Invincible not long ago. It was a cooperative bag builder.
Yeah.
And Paul had his hands in that, of course.
Well, I think Paul touches a little bit of everything that comes out
from Direwolf, for sure.
But I don't think we've been disappointed by one of his games yet. And of course, like I said, I've already played the game, so like I already know, like I really, really enjoyed the experience. It was a bit more on the challenging side, maybe compared to Clank, just because it does have some of these train game inspirations. And when I say that, it's not like an 18XX or it's not like an Age of Steam, but if you play the game, if you are a fan of those games, like there will be some moments where you're like, I see where this inspiration came from. Like it does really feel like a love letter to train gaming, but with that really interesting Paul twist.
Yeah, so we will have more content on the channel, hopefully before Gen Con, maybe even a full-blown how to play on the game. But the next game we want to talk about, much smaller, haven't played it, neither of us, but I've skimmed the rules. And that is a game called Tag Team. This one is from Scorpion Masqué. It's not from the same team who did Sky Team, even though team is in the name. But this is a 2-player head-to-head fighting game where you're going to be taking 2 characters. So think Street Fighter, things like that. But you're going to be choosing 2 characters. But it's a deck building auto battler. So the 2 characters you take their starting cards, you put those in whatever order you want, and Ryan would do the same, and we flip our first card, and we resolve those cards. Then we flip our second card and resolve those cards. Then, before we do that again, we're going to have taken all the cards for those characters, the other cards, shuffled them up. So I have a deck with my 2 characters shuffled up. I'm going to draw 3. Ryan's going to draw 3 from his. And you're going to choose one of those cards to add to your active deck. Now, here's the interesting thing. You're going to add that either as the first card or the second card or the third card. So, and your cards are going to stay in the same order as you play the game, as you build your deck.
Hands in style, flipping the cards over to like program your combos, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you're going to see how people are building their deck, and you're like, oh, so their first card is this. I'm actually going to put this card as my first card, so it kind of counters that, or fires off first and foils him. Those sorts of things, because you're doing all the same things you'd expect in a fighting game, but most of all, you're reducing someone's health, and as soon as someone's health gets to 0, they lose the game. And all the characters, by the way, not only do they have unique decks with unique cards, but they have basically kind of a little bit of a mini game sort of aspect to how they operate and the things that they do.
Well, that's the thing that draws me into tag team. I think it's the same thing that draws me into like Dice Throne, is like, you're going to find some characters that you really like, and you're going to find some combinations in this game that you really like. But to be really good at this game, it helps to know all the characters and know what they can do, what their combos might look like. And it seems like there's a lot of different possible combinations between mixing these characters. Sure. And the fact that even if you play the same 2 characters together in one game, you could use those same 2 characters in another and have a completely different deck to lead to a very different fighting style.
Yeah, I mean, it has 12 characters, I think, because it lists them on the top of the box here. And look at that. Does that not give you Dice Throne vibes?
I mean, it does a little bit. But this feels a little quicker than Dice Throne.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
I just mean from a look and feel. I mean, even the artwork has that nice cartoony, fun feel to it. Artwork, by the way, by, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Naiad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Same person involved with Seasons and a lot of other games that I like. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that. Please let me know in the comments.
Because we've been saying it for a while.
One of my favorite artists, and well,
that cover is killer, and it invokes like everything that you and I know grew up with, these arcade fighting games, and like anything that brings back that nostalgia feeling of getting to choose your fighter always just has a little bit of excitement.
Yeah, and we might even be carrying this copy around with us. So if you see us, and you want to throw it down at Gen Con,
ask us the tag team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The third game that we want to talk about is actually, I didn't know this. Ryan told me before we started recording that it is a re-implementation. It's from one of our favorite designers, John D. Clare, and this one is called Ruins. It's from All Play.
It's from All Play, yeah.
And this is a bit of a re-implementation with quite a few differences, I think, of custom heroes. So this uses the deck
card crafting
system, but it's a shedding game. So unlike its bigger games like Mystic Vale or Edge of Darkness, or Dead Reckoning, this one is a more streamlined experience, but it still has that card crafting.
Well, yeah, if you never played custom heroes, I mean, it's a shedding game. Those shedding games kind of feel like trick-taking games. You're playing different sets of cards from your hand. In custom heroes, you were kind of building a superhero by layering these cards that were like equipment and suits. This is really cool. I actually like as much as I love superheroes and anime, because I do, I actually like this new theme better because the background of the card is like some kind of ruin, and as you're sliding
you're
cards
putting in like little sites,
like little artifacts and things like that. When it's done, you have this like full like ruins you can excavate. But when you play these cards, the card building element is like when you play them, other things can happen. Like you're playing, because it's all about the numbers, but then you're playing cards like this one like counts as 2 numbers, or like this one lets you play it out of order or play things in a different way, because the goal of a shedding game is to get rid of all the cards in your hand. But like in custom heroes, all those cards get put back into a pool, so you don't necessarily get the cards that you made that were super sweet. You might not get that card again the next round.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Is a cool twist.
And it's a tiny little box, by the way. This thing, I mean, just like a lot of all play games.
That's their style.
But it's even smaller than custom heroes. It is a small little box, which is amazing to see a card crafting game come in something like that, because you've got the sleeves and you've got all the different translucent
It does
cards.
feel like a lot in that small box.
I mean, we'll see what it looks like inside that thing. Yeah. The next game we want to talk about is probably the heaviest on our list.
Lightning Train's a little heavy. This is probably a little heavier.
This is Suna Valo. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. One thing I didn't know about this, it is effectively a sequel, or it's at least set in the same universe as Planta Nubo, and it's from Oda, and I think maybe his own design.
Yeah.
Because Planta Nubo was him,
a lot of people.
Uva.
Yeah.
I think 3 different designers. This one is, like I said, set in that same world. Looks beautiful. We haven't touched this game, so we don't know much about this thing. I do know, and if you want to learn a little bit about it, Rahdo has a bit of a playthrough that he posted in the last couple months. But I know that based on that video, it uses one of the mechanisms similar to the game Deus. Do you remember Deus? You're adding cards, not necessarily really to a tableau, but for lack of a better way of putting it, tableau. And the cards are stacking, and when you add a card or when you activate something, you're firing off all the things in that stack, which is a unique aspect to that because it's sort of, I think, order of operations too in that stack. It looks like a lot of things going on. I think this is only a 2-player game.
It is a 2-player game, and the twist with that, like, it's cool because, like you said, you're firing off the column, but you're also using those cards to buy cards from the market. So like you're spending some of the cards that you have. So like you're not always just going to be able to keep adding to your rows. And like just like Planta Nubo, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the artwork in this game is, I don't know if it's the same artist as Planta Nubo.
Yeah,
but it definitely captures that same vibe.
And I don't know that it's from the same publisher. It might be from the same publisher, but Capstone is bringing it out over here.
Well, it might have been, overseas, the same original publisher. I don't know who originally did Planta Nubo, but I love this idea, like that there's some connective tissue between these games.
It's cool. It might actually make me go back and eventually play Planta Nubo. Did you ever play it?
No, because
neither of us played the game.
My one story about Planta Nubo is we sat down to learn it at PAX, and they do this great thing at PAX where they have a little thing. They're like, scan the QR code and learn how to play it. And the learn to play video was an hour and like 30 minutes. And so we were like, not today. I mean, I heard that it's a lot of game.
It's a lot of game. It's a lot of game, but it is beautiful.
I need to read that rule book myself.
All right, the next one we wanted to talk about is one that was on my radar, and I put it on Ryan's a little bit because he wasn't sure what it was. This one's called Dirt and Dust.
Yeah, I kind of overlooked it a little bit just because of the theme, which don't ever do that. That was maybe a mistake for me.
Yeah, I've been guilty of overlooking a lot of games in the past. So when we do these lists, we look up the geek list on Board Game Geek, the previews, and you just go through them. And there's hundreds of games typically, although this year wasn't like a ridiculous amount.
Not as many. And there's some factors that factor into that, but yeah.
But went through this, and in the past I've overlooked. The ones that are easy to overlook are the ones that don't have box art. Sometimes there's no box art, and the infantile brain I have, if there's no box art, I'm like, next. But sometimes there have been games in there that I'm like, oh, I didn't see that because it said no image.
Right.
But this one has an image. Even has a little video that they put together. And this is what caught my eye. So this is a racing game that's sort of like dirt rally racing. But it doesn't look as though there's like a big board with a track that you're racing around. Everyone has a couple boards in front of them. There's like a dashboard. Think a la kind of like Heat looking board. And then there's this big long board where you're going to be placing cards. It's a mixture of deck building and dice placement.
Yeah, that's where you got me.
So you're going to be rolling dice, and then you're placing dice on this sort of like dashboard where you place your cards. And then you're going to be doing, when it's your turn, you're taking all sorts of actions. You can place cards, you can activate the cards, but you can only activate the cards that have dice above them. You're using those dice to activate those cards. So I don't know all the details, but it looks really interesting. And the thing in the video that caught my eye, in fact, it tricked me at first. I can't remember the designer's name, but is it Thomas Holick?
Oh, the SETI designer?
SETI, Galileo Galilei, Teagarden.
Yeah. Prolific guy.
He's in the video. So I was like, oh, I recognize him. I think he probably was, I don't know that he was officially part of the development, but my hunch is that he's probably friends with the designer.
Maybe helped out, mentored
He sounded
a little
in the
bit.
video like he'd played it because he was effectively endorsing it, saying he really liked this about the game, he really liked that about the game.
That's all I need to want to play
Exactly. That's and it looked really well produced, and I'm interested to see if there's a game that could kind of come onto the scene from, again, a publisher that I hadn't heard of. I want to say they're called Albi.
Yeah,
ALBI.
I feel like I've heard the name before, but definitely not a well-known publisher.
But really nice looking game. Again, I think this is going to be available for sale, which is kind of wild for a game, from a smaller publisher to premiere at Gen Con for sale.
It might be, they might not have their own, I have to look into that because it might be for sale through a different booth. Sometimes we see that.
Yes. The next one we want to talk about, this one I'm going to hand over to Ryan. It's called Timber Town.
It is. It's called Timber Town.
He put this on my radar because I'd kind of overlooked this when I was going through the list.
I did. I think, it's easy to overlook because, it's a cutesy animal game, but you play as beavers building your little like dams, but they're like cities. So it's like, think Everdell, or like we said River City, River Glassworks, Valley Glassworks. Yeah. So they're all animals. I got that out because it's a similar in theme in that like you're building, but the buildings you're drafting from are like floating down a river.
Yeah.
And so they're tiles that are moving and like carrying the buildings with them. And when they fall out of the river, like they're gone. So like it's all about the timing of grabbing these buildings. But what it is at its heart, it's like a puzzle game. You want to collect cards with like different conditions of scoring, and then have your little scoring on your board. Like everything is positional. I mean, it's definitely one of those games that requires that I probably would be bad at, because it requires a certain like positional sense.
Yeah,
that I lack, but I still love those games.
The player board, at least what you have in front of you, where you're placing your different aspects, was giving me, and not that it's like Tiny Towns at all, but it was giving me,
that is a good comparison.
It was giving me Tiny Towns vibes, because each little tile was like another addition to your town, more like they looked like, oh, here's a general store,
Right.
here's like different like facets of a village that you'd be adding. But the cool twist is that mechanism, it looked like, anyway, from the photos, that there were tiles representing the river that would go off and you'd lose those little tiles. And I don't know if you just
I
bring
imagine
that
you just take them and put them back at the start.
because at the top of those river tiles, though, there's a different icon. So I didn't know if there's a separate pile of those river tiles, because the different icon looked like it had to do with maybe the tiles, or maybe the cost, or something related to the tiles that were going to be placed on those river tiles.
Yeah, this is one that we have not played yet.
No,
So like
clearly, we are pure speculation.
when I put this on my list, and there's not even a ton about it online yet, but it is supposedly on sale at Gen Con as well. So
And this is Alley Cat, right?
yeah, this is from Alley Cat,
Yeah.
which is a surprise because they've had quite a few releases over the last year. So
Yeah. Interesting. Alley Cat has an interesting mix of games.
Yeah, they
and
do.
Usually in the medium plus euro.
this
range.
feels maybe
This
a little bit on the
medium
lighter
light.
side.
Yeah.
But these games can be deceiving, because if that puzzle aspect is like really brain burning, that kind of makes it feel a little heavier than maybe the rules make it seem.
Yeah, and we will try to have these in the description below,
Yeah.
like the booth numbers, the list of the games, and of course, hopefully some
absolutely.
graphics on screen here. The next one we want to talk about, this is going to be easy to talk about, because it's mostly just a box. It's not just a box, but this is the Lost Ruins of Arnak Adventure Chest. And this is a giant, first and foremost, in my opinion, this is a giant box to store everything Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yeah.
Plus, and nicely, it's a nice big sturdy box with a lot of nice trays to hold everything.
And several
I can
levels
tell
of
you, this
trays.
is desperately needed. The last time I opened my Lost Ruins box, and I have everything in one box, and it is a mess. Like, it's a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
Right? And I'm one of those guys too. I have the original player boards, which you don't really need anymore, because you're not really ever going to play that way.
Right, you're always going to use the new player boards.
But this does come with an expansion. Do you know anything about the expansion?
I know, yes, and I've seen. I actually got to go to the CGE office the other day and see this, so that was
Oh, that's
really
right.
cool.
CGE. We were in Charleston for a convention, CharCon. Shout out to Travis from Queen Games. But yeah, CGE has an office.
CG's
there.
off. I think that's their main office.
I think it is.
It was really, really cool, but that's beside the point. But yeah, they actually had it there. So the main draw, I think, other than that, the storage box, is the new board, because like that's what injects a little bit of flavor into Lost Ruins. It's like
Okay.
when you play with a different board, things change, and that means the research track is different. This one is double sided.
Is it a full board?
It's a full board. It's a
Oh, a
full
new full
double-sided
board.
new board. So
is there any other new elements?
there's new like monsters, there's new item cards, new relics.
New okay.
Well, not everything.
but
There's
a
like
handful of little things.
handful of little things, like, but no new like player powers, no new, whatever. Also, I guess a bunch of content for the solo mode, which I've never played. So it was listing like, here's a bunch of stuff that comes for the solo mode, like rival tiles and stuff that I've never played it solo. Maybe I'm missing an opportunity there.
You probably are.
Because I love that game, but yeah, and it doesn't, nothing new for like the missions mode or whatever, but stuff that you can use for any of your.
So it
Lost
just
Ruins
sounds like
games.
more,
Just more stuff.
not anything like mechanically new.
Yeah, I forget what they call like Winding River. There's a name for the expansion content, which makes me wonder. I don't know if they're gonna sell that separately or if the big box is the only way to get that content, but
if you're a fan of the game, you're gonna want this box.
I would have gotten the big box.
Did they run a campaign for this? I can't
I think
remember.
it was just pre-order campaign.
Oh, maybe it was a pre-order, but this is when it's going to be available.
It's gonna be available, and I'm with you. Just give me an empty box and let me sort it. Give me 30 minutes to sort out a game, and I will be as happy as possible.
Knowing me, I will do that. I'll sort it, and then it won't get played. We play too many new games.
That's
around
true. I don't know. I still love Lost Ruins of Arnak.
The next game we want to play, we got three more, at least three more on our list, and then we're gonna rattle off a bunch of also rans. But this one is Gatsby. This one is co-designed by Bruno Catala. I'm a big fan. And it also has kind of so it's a 2-player game. It's set and themed around Gatsby, which I know you're a fan of.
Huge Gatsby fan.
Gatsby fan or just a Leo fan?
No, I'm
just kidding.
You know what? I liked him as Gatsby. I'm not gonna. I liked everything about that movie. But I've been a Gatsby fan. Like I think the first big essay that I ever wrote in high school, like for my final, was based on Great Gatsby. I think so. I got a little bit of love for it.
40% of high schoolers.
That might be
then.
Might be true.
Back then, I don't know what.
I chose the Great Gatsby to do my big senior essay, but this game looks awesome. I mean, it's not. It is kind of. It's based on the theme. It's not based on any of the characters from the book. Gatsby himself exists, but you're playing as two people who are like fighting for Gatsby's attention.
Well, you want a bunch of people from different sort of sects to like follow you or something like that.
Like you're trying to gain popularity. You're trying to be. There's like 3 different sections of the board that represent like 3 different aspects of like that 1920s culture, and you're competing in each of the 3 sections. So I think that. And it's a 2-player game. So like there's that kind of back and forth.
Yeah, it's a 2-player game that has vibes that feel a little like, you know, a duel sort of game, like a 7 Wonders duel thing where there's like a few different win conditions. You can get X amount of a certain classification of person to follow you. You can get one of each of those classifications to follow you, or yet some other third win condition. So I always like those sorts of things where there's little tugs of war at where like, oh, he's about to win there, so I need to stop him there. And you're trying to win on different rounds. Oh, Splendor Duel also had that sort of vibe going on.
Well, and again, not that we're 100% basing our feelings on the way it looks, but this game also just looks really cool. It didn't try to like co-opt the movie look.
No.
But it does still feel like in that 19. I love that movie.
Yeah, but I would not want photorealistic Leonardo DiCaprio.
You can get the meme where he holds up the glass. That should have been the cover. No, I'm really excited about this.
Putting it in the video right now. All right, the next one we want to talk about. We don't know too much about this, although the rule book is on BGG if you want to check it out. It sounds like it's a solo experience first and foremost, but you can play it 2-player co-op. This is called Ace of Spades from Devere. And what caught my eye about this, first of all, I was looking at all Devere's stuff. I always want to look at what Devere's got cooking for Gen Con. And I didn't see anything in the way of like big box games this year.
No, I think they have like Red Carpet. Well, a lot of people are getting Transgalactica.
Oh, that's true.
For the first time.
True. See, Transgalactica
That's one we forget about because like we've had it for a couple months now.
And I think it is technically out, but this will be probably the first convention where it's widely available. So Transgalactica, yes. But this is a smaller box game, and it gave me Balatro vibes because it looked kind of roguelike where you're like going against all these, you're dueling in the Wild West via poker hands and kind of demonic looking poker hands. Against these bosses. You know, you'd flip a card and there's this boss and you have to kind of like do certain things to get around them. Again, using poker mechanics to do so. I dug the look of it, so I want to check it out.
See, for me, Balatro vibes, but it gives me Gunslinger vibes. I don't know if you ever read the Gunslinger, the Dark Tower book from.
I did not.
Where the guy's wandering the desert with his magic pistols or whatever. Because like you're playing these poker hands, but each poker hand is like invoking some kind of magic ability that your Gunslinger has.
That's right.
And you're using it to fight these demons as you go across the desert. So thematically speaking, it's not set in that world or anything, but it gives me those vibes.
I see what you're saying.
And
I would agree.
And it's a cool looking game. I mean, I love the gang. I love Balatro. I think I'm just really into games that use poker with other stuff added on.
Well, what's cool about games that use poker is that almost everyone knows poker. Now, with that said, we just talked to a friend of ours this past week who's gaga over the gang, and he played it with his family, Dan Patrice.
Oh, well, we played the game for like 3 hours with Dan.
When he played it first, before we saw him this past weekend, he played it with his family, and he had to teach, I think, his daughter poker first, which is kind of wild. Like if I sat down at a table with the gang and most people, anyone, if not more than one person, didn't know how to play poker, I'd say, maybe let's play something else because that's a lot to sort of like digest. But yeah, poker and Balatro. I love Balatro. Balatro's been so successful, video game if you're not familiar, because it's so accessible because mostly everyone knows poker.
Yeah.
So we've got one more to talk about. It's our last one. This one is probably going to be one of the darlings of the show.
I think so.
This is the first it's available, at least in the States. I do believe this was out overseas.
It was. The game is Cat in the Tower.
Yes,
this came out from ArcLight overseas, but yeah, Arcane Wonders picked it up. They're releasing it in the US for the first time. I've been following this game since I first heard about it. For one, I mean, who doesn't like adorable cats? Two, the artwork and the graphic design look amazing. But also, like, I'm a big fan of the game Rhino Hero.
Yeah,
this
it looks
feels
a
like
lot
this
like
is
that.
like a new Rhino Hero. You're taking these cards, and you have to put these walls up, but and then stack and balance, and it's cooperative, and you're playing through these story cards to like get through like 20 chapters or whatever.
Oh, really?
But the key thing that makes this stand out is that when you're putting the walls, you're always putting walls that are different heights. You're never putting two walls that are the same height. So it gives me a little bit of almost like Nikojima vibes.
Yeah,
and
there's cats in that too.
The designers of Nikojima designed a competitive mode. So the game is cooperative by default, but they designed a competitive version that's new for the US release. So the designers of Nikojima.
Well, that alone makes me on board.
But I haven't told you the theme. You're gonna be like, oh, come on. But a lot of people out there will cry.
Cats in the tower.
Well, the cat's mom has died, and he thinks that if he can build a tower tall enough, he can climb his way to heaven and see his mom again. Isn't that sweet? That's the theme of the game, and
it is very sweet. Ryan's making me out to be a cold-hearted person, mostly because sometimes I am. But it is it's an adorable
theme,
story.
and it's cooperative, and there's all these cat miniatures, which I think is going to be the draw for people. The main goal, and like the cat has this like red scarf, it looks very cool. The goal is to get that cat up, but then you have all these other cats, and different cards will say, but you also have to put this cat in there, and you have to move this cat from here to there, and like stuff that maybe we've seen a little bit in Rhino Hero, but this seems like a better version, if I'm being honest.
When the cat gets to the top of the tower, and then mom's not there, and they realize there's no heaven and their mom's just worm food. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But it's a story.
Settle down.
There's a story. There's like 20. I don't remember exactly how many. I think like something between 10 and 20 cards, and each card is there's a narrative too. Like you get to read a little narrative. It
sounds cool. Yeah, this, like we said, this is going to be, I think, a big hit. This is going to be one that's probably sold out very quickly.
Yeah, get to Arcane Wonders.
We didn't talk about a lot of that, but I think of the ones we'd mentioned, I'll bet Lightning Train goes.
Yeah, they're gonna have limited
fast.
copies of like lightning
fast. I think Suna Valo is probably going to go pretty fast. Capstone always seems to have something where they got some big lines all 3 days, and like something's. Oh, they also
that Arnak chest too is going to.
Let's talk about some others.
All right, honorable mentions.
These are honorable mentions. Some of which fall into this category because we've played them. They've been out for a while, or a lot of people have had coverage for them, but they just happen to be available for the first time at this Gen Con.
You're just going to go down the list?
I'm going to list some. You can jump in and talk when you want. The first one I want to mention is a game called Otter. You're not going to jump in on this.
No, I've never.
I had a chance to play this earlier this year, and it's a simple little card game that kind of has. Have you ever played Kabanga?
No, but they were playing a ton of Kabanga at CharCon this weekend.
I played Kabanga at CharCon this weekend too. I'm not a giant fan of Kabanga because Kabanga, I feel, kind of plays itself a little bit.
Sure.
But this has Kabanga vibes, but I enjoyed this a lot more because you have a little bit more player choice in terms of like changing the suit, changing the number, and how you interact with the board. Feels quite a bit more strategic, and there's adorable otters. The way the board looks is really cool. So go check this out. It's a cheap little game. It's a little box card game, so go check it out. Next one, Pirates of Maracaibo Commanders, which is what I was about to mention when we were talking about Capstone.
Oh yeah, because we try not to put a ton of expansions on our list. Some years our list could be 10 expansion games. So we try to.
There's not a ton of expansions that I know.
Well, technically, the Lost Ruins one is a little bit of an expansion. There's a few other games that have good expansions coming out.
But this is an expansion to Pirates of Maracaibo. A lot of people say Pirates of Maracaibo kind of pushes enough of the same buttons as its ancestor that's the game they play now. So I'm interested to see what Commanders does. We've got Shackleton Base.
Yeah, which I didn't put on my list. It's hard for me to say that I'm anticipating Shackleton Base because I've now played it 9 times since it came out. But it came out of SN last October, so it's been out for a while for people that really wanted it. but this will be the first time for the U.S. audience. I think Pandasaurus is bringing it over.
Yep.
I can't recommend Shackleton Base enough.
Yep.
Obviously, since I played it 9 times, 2 of those times were at CharCon, played it twice.
Yeah, we
with
had
Alex from Board Game Co. Taught him, and then he immediately said, let's play it again.
Shackleton was the game that got most played, probably.
I think
at
so.
least the heavier Euro game that got most played there. And I would agree with Ryan. If you're looking for a medium plus weight Euro, this thing is great.
Yeah.
It's an awesome game. It's got a lot of variability,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot. If you thought when we said SETI had variability because of the aliens, it really's got nothing on this. Like this one really feels different depending on what are they, all corporations?
Oh, yeah, there's like 9 different corporations you can choose from, I think. 9.
Yeah, so really, really cool game. So if you're looking for
Maybe
a good
7,
Euro,
whatever.
definitely check that out. A couple others. Nature, which is North Star's sort of new take on Evolution. It's definitely got all of their history making the Evolution games behind it, but it feels very much like that big box game there. Gwent.
Yeah, that's
For all
true.
you Witcher fans, they've got a real-life version of Gwent. If you follow board games, you've probably seen it, but it's going to be available at Gen Con. Luthier. I think Luthier is going to be available.
So I don't know. It was supposed to be. I think it's still supposed to be, but we know that there's been a lot of issues with shipping.
Yeah, because this is
So
a campaign. I don't know.
This will be a hot out.
If they have it, it's going to be hot because I don't think it's even still yet delivering.
Mm-hmm.
So he might hold off on that, but they're definitely, I would imagine they'll at least have like a finished copy to check
it will
out.
definitely be there to look at.
A couple other ones. Vantage, which you've seen here on the channel. It's been out, I think, for the last few weeks. It came out in July.
Yeah, that's not technically a Gen Con release. It's shipped to everybody that pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
So
But it's going to be there if you haven't checked it out. One called Rival Cities. Andreas
almost made our
Stedding?
list. Yep,
Is that
Andreas Stedding, yeah.
This one's from Pegasus Spiel, and it is a 2-player game, another 2-player game. Everyone's going 2-player. Ever since SkyTeam
I
a couple
love
years
that,
ago.
though. I mean, we play a lot of 2-player games, so it's great.
I didn't look into this one too closely, but from the looks of it and from the fact that it's 2-player only, it was giving me like more involved, not like it plays like Watergate, but
yeah.
it felt like one of those like pretty robust
I
2-player
wish that line was still going. I liked, like they did like Watergate and Match the
chess
Century,
one?
but then
Oh yeah, Match of the Century.
anyway, this feels like it could be the third in that line, although it's a different publisher.
And 2 more that I had to mention that sort of on the lighter side. One is called Boom Patrol. This is from Smirk and Dagger, and it looked like it was kind of like my first skirmish miniatures game. It's all cardboard.
It's
with
fun
these
looking.
Cool,
It's fun
cool
looking,
tanks. It gave me old Atari
Wait, I think
2600
it's
tanks vibes.
Smirk and Laughter.
I don't know. I think he's dropping.
Is he dropping that?
I want to say the brand is just Smirk and Dagger.
Okay.
If you're listening, it should just be Smirk and Dagger. It's too confusing otherwise. I don't
Yeah.
know which ones are Smirk and Laughter, Smirk and Dagger, but you get the idea. And then the last one, we have covered this on channel, Flip Tunes. This is from Thunderworks. This is like just announced in the last couple weeks, and it is a Gen Con release. This is a little box card game. Interesting take on deck building. And even though he's not here, I'll speak for him. We were with Grant Lyon this past weekend. He said Fliptoons, one of the most popular games so far this year in his household.
Yeah.
They've been playing it a ton. He and his roommates quite a bit. So, and we, like I said, we have a playthrough here on the channel. So if you want to check that out, did you have any?
I got 2.
2 more.
I got two honorable mentions, and one is Inferno. This didn't make my list because again, it's been out since S, and this is another one.
Is this the Grand Gamers Guild?
This is from Grand Gamers Guild. They're bringing this over, and it was available in very limited quantities at Origins, but for the most of the public, this will be our first chance in the States to get Inferno. And this was one that was like the talk of all the content creators
back when
it came out. Yeah, it was like a Kickstarter, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, for the mass public. And then the other one, it's not going to be for sale, but Cascadia Alpine Lakes should be there in demo format. I'm a big fan of Cascadia. I got Cascadia Junior early this year. Been playing that with my kid. He loves it. And I'm just a big Cascadia fan. We go to this cabin retreat every year, and we always start with Cascadia because we're out in the middle of the woods, just like so thematic. I don't know anything about this Alpine Lakes. Like I don't either. So I'm very, very excited to see. Is it just some more tiles for Cascadia? Is it a completely new addition? I don't know. We haven't really.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Haven't seen
we
it
generally
yet.
get a good early look at a lot of their games, so hopefully we'll have some content some point, probably after Gen Con.
Sure.
Whenever they're going to run whatever campaign they run for it, maybe we'll get our hands on it.
I hope so.
Speaking of them, they're also going to have Knitting Circle, I think,
Oh yeah, Knitting Circle
for
should
the
be
first
should be there,
time
yeah.
available for sale at Gen Con, which is in their Calico line. I actually, do I like it better than Calico? I liked it. I like Knitting Circle quite a bit. It was a very different style of game, but it definitely had that sort of flat out
Sure.
DNA,
Sure.
if you will.
Absolutely.
But those are all the games that we wanted to talk about anyway. We had 10 most anticipated, and I think even more than 10. More than 10
It's
also.
hard to cut
ran.
that list down.
There's a lot of games at Gen Con. And also, if you're still watching this video and you're going to be at Gen Con, we are going to have an event on Saturday night at Gen Con for MvM. We've held this, technically, this is our 4th annual event. Year 1, not so great. It was in a restaurant. It was just like 10 of us.
It was it was great. It was a great time, and I love everyone that came. But the AC,
well, sure.
the AC went out, and it was 99 degrees.
No, I'm talking about Buca de Beppo.
Yeah, remember there was no AC.
The AC went out there. Second year, at another place that will go unnamed,
where the AC also went
where
out.
the AC was never on. Not so
90
great.
degrees.
But last year.
Oh,
last year was
epic.
a killer event,
Yeah.
if we do say so ourselves, and
Yeah.
this year's going to be just as good. So, we're going to have tickets on sale. They're probably on sale right now. I'll have information in the description below if you want to link to that. Come to our event. Right now, it's from 7 to 10 on Saturday night, August 2nd. Just a short walk, like a little over half a mile from the convention center. Really nice place. We're going to have pizza, play games, give away some games. So come check out that event. Or if you see us at Gen Con, flag us down and say hi.
And say, tag team.
Yeah, and say tag team. And Orion will play against you.
Also, there's a 99% chance that David is going to be carrying either Tichu or Nana on his person.
Oh, I will have Nana. I will have Tichu. And while I don't like to blur the lines between MvM and CMON, I'll have another little game from CMON that no one has really played too much in my back pocket that we'll be announcing very soon for Essen. But yeah, check us out at Gen Con and let us know what games you're anticipating for Gen Con yourself, or if you think we were completely off base on any of our picks. Until next time, though, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.